Hello, my name is Owen Rubel, and I'm here to talk to you again about the Akihabara framework and work that I've been doing on it. As you recall previously, I was working on building the adding on to the Akihabara framework, which the Akihabara framework, if you recall, is a game development framework using HTML5, and I've been working to add resources to it to make it more of a client-server architecture. In my last demo, I showed how I added resources to load the map that you're seeing in front of you from a server backend, so that when the player goes to a map, such as I'm doing right now, it loads it from the backend. From a server backend. That way you don't have to load all the resources all at once. In this video, I'm going to hopefully demonstrate some of the additional changes that I've been making and add-ons and updates that I've been making to the framework. One of those changes, which unfortunately you can't see right now, is I also made the player load from the backend. And I can demonstrate some of that later on. But in doing that, I wanted to add functionality to the player himself, so that when you loaded the player from the backend, I mean, it's great that you can load the player from the backend, but I want to be able to see those player resources. Like for instance, in other games like World of Warcraft, I can pull up those player resources. And so in order to do that, I have to make that player object clickable. As it was, in the Akihabara framework, objects were not clickable. So for instance, if I clicked on this bush or this house or so on and so forth, you cannot, objects were not clickable via a mouse. It was taking keyboard input, two keyboard inputs, and the directional keyboard inputs, and that was basically all that was being taken in. So I added in mouse input, and I made it so that all objects can receive or can be modified so that they can be clickable. So now, in the Akihabara framework, any object can be made clickable to receive mouse down, mouse up, click, so on and so forth. So if you want to drag an object, so on and so forth, you effectively can. To demonstrate this, let's pull up my console real quick. If you remember from my last demo, I built a console, and I also had two very one very primitive button for the console for hiding it. I've moved that up to here now. That will hide the button now. This uses the new functionality for that I've added in of clickable objects. This technically is not an object. This is just an image, but I made that image clickable. Same thing with these additional images, although these aren't really doing anything right now. But as you'll see, when I hold down the mouse, as I am doing right now, it keeps the image changed. I can click it, and it changes really quick. But if I hold down, it stays changed while I'm holding down. And that also works for the player too. Now, for the player, I wanted to have a menu, so that when you clicked on the player, a menu would pop up of options of what you can do. This required an additional class to be built for the Akihabara framework, so that you can build menus for objects. So if you want a menu for anything to pop up, you can effectively have a menu. So you click on the player, a menu pops up, and you'll notice as the player moves around, the menu is still there. It's centered on the player where he was. I don't think it's too important to have to change that, but there it is. And if you want to cancel out of it, poof, it's gone. Now, when I was playing around with this, I realized that the way the Akihabara framework worked is that these inputs are being read at different levels, and I had to make sure that they were being read in the game cycle. All of them are being read in the game cycle, because if I popped up this game menu for the player while these inputs were up at the same time, I couldn't click on the menu while clicking on this. But that is not true anymore. I fixed that real quick so that everything is happening in the game cycle now. So now, when this menu is up, I'll just pop it up again. You'll notice I can click on it. I can click cancel. But I can pull up the character info. I can pop up an inventory really quick. I think this is only partially showing on your screen, but you get the general idea. And we can hide it as well. But this is basically what I've been working on, and what I've been adding on to the Akihabara framework. Hopefully I'm going to be making additional changes as well. We're going to be adding quests and quest dialogues, inventory. Going to be finally adding scrolling to the console here, coming up soon. As you can see, we've got the buttons already built for that. And we're going to be storing the messages elsewhere. I don't really think that there is a good client-side solution, cross-platform client-side solution for Linux, Mac, and Windows that will meet all the needs of Firefox, Opera, Safari, and IE. So that'll probably just be storing in a table in a database somewhere, and just a temp table, because that's about all it needs for log files. But again, if somebody knows of a better solution on the client side that is cross-platform, that will work for Mac, Linux, and Windows, for all browsers, please let me know. Send me a comment. And I'd love to hear about it, and love to start testing for it. And again, so here we go. This is what I've been working on. Menus, buttons, putting in a clickable interface, and yeah. Hope you enjoyed this. Again, please check out the Akihabara framework and start testing it. Start playing around with it. I think you'll enjoy it as much as I have so far. Again, this is Owen Rubel, and I hope you enjoyed this demo. Take care. Bye-bye.